Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Plasma, and I like overdoing things. I decided to attempt an infinitely long elevator in my research simply because it would be funny and amusing to do, and even in failure, I'd learn something about the limits. Well, I broke through those limits. Very happy about this one. So welcome to my research and development world. I don't normally record here. It's a bit of a mess, you'll have to forgive that. I've got a bunch of projects scheduled, some future videos, some past videos, all kinds of prototypes for some cool things we're going to do in Minecraft. I don't actually know when this is going to break. It's almost 200 blocks long and it hasn't had any problems yet. It should be able to go all the way to render distance. So today, let's learn how to build a render distance elevator. Let's go up to the top and you can see what it looks like when we get up there. And we are about to get started. Skip ahead a few seconds if you like, but I'm going to show how this works. So because there's an extra piston, it pushes these up, so we have to fix them. But it automatically fixes. There we go. And now it'll go back down again. So this is what a dissection of an infinite elevator looks like. So we'll start with a piston elevator, and things are going to get a little bit cozy because we don't have a lot of room to work with in such a narrow space. So we're just going to do the piston elevator we've done time and time again, only we're going to have the observers look up and downward so that they are in line, so it's only one wide. And what we're going to do is we're going to add an attach arm that fits directly above that in that 1x2 area. And it's going to be just like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to, up against that, we're going to put one of these elevator segments on. Now these elevator segments are the trick to it. So if you'll notice, we have an observer facing down and a little Tetris-like piece of 4 slime blocks and then 2 pistons. And so the reason why this is so significant is because there's a number of ways that you can't do this. And so I'm actually going to show you why we're doing it this way. This is the neat solution I came up with that allows us to bypass a certain problem, which is that when it's moving up and down, this slime block is going to pull on this block right here, and that's going to be a problem where it's going to get caught. And so it doesn't actually present a problem when going upward, but when going downward it will. And so if you'll follow me down here, if we were to try and build it like this, where we were just had this piston and didn't have a second piston right here, then when it operates, what would happen is that you would have this problem. So if you watch this piston should be pulling this block right here, but it isn't. And the reason is because it's grabbing onto this block. And so it's causing it to not be able to move downward. And so if I were to take this block off, if you were willing to build an elevator that only had these blocks on it, then yes, you could build an infinite elevator, but there's nothing you can put here. In fact, you can't even put concrete powder or sand because the nature of it pulling down is that it would actually pop and destroy here. And so that doesn't work either. It either gets caught on it or it's in the process of falling and it destroys the sand or the concrete powder. And so that doesn't actually work. It works upward, like so. Oops. What we wanted to do is this, and then this. Oh, we're already up. So we want to go like this, and what I meant to do was this. So that works, but the opposite isn't true. So you have to do it like this. The magic of it is that because there's another sticky piston here, and because it cuts off so that we're able to use slime on each piece, and because we're able to use slime on each piece, we're able to actually put the observer right here and pass the redstone in, because a honey block going right here wouldn't actually transmit the redstone signal for this to work. And because this works, this is firing and moving this block, and because it's moving this block, if they're in a transition state, so this slime block is not able to grab onto these because they're in the process of moving, and so it actually works. And so now let's go ahead and look at the smaller form of this, just so you can kind of see the pieces up close. So what you have is we're going to have a way to trigger it by setting off the bottom piston. This is just like the other elevators, only because we've got to get close to it and we have a slime block up directly above that's going to be a problem, we have to actually use a double piston extender, which is very simple. It's just 2 observers facing this way. And then this is not a sticky piston. I don't think it matters, but this one is sticky. And so what it will do is it will touch like that and cause it to go down. Now, the trick to being able to launch this infinite elevator is what we've done is we've chained each segment to the other segment. So with the other elevators, we had to prime the higher layers and work our way down. What we're going to do is we're going to start over here. What we'll do is we'll send a signal to this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. And then we need to send a signal to this one. So what I've done is I've gone around like so, and we will go through and we will, after another 3 ticks, we will power this one, this piston, which will say hello to this, and that will act as our final priming. And then after that, we're going to send a redstone signal downward. You can do it however you'd like. I decided to use a tower here, but we're just going to send a signal down here and wait another 3 ticks, and then we're going to say go to it. And so if I were to come over here and run it, 1, 2, 3, 4, and now the whole thing is running. And the easiest way to stop this is just use a block of obsidian. There are other tricks you can do. And then the final thing is that the downside of having to do a piston this way, and it's the only way I found to make it work, is that these will pop up like this. And so what you do is you run an observer on the end of it that appears last, wait at least 9 ticks, and then go in and send a redstone signal to each of them, and it'll fix it. Like that. And so then you have yourself an elevator that can go on forever. You can add as many segments as you want. So if you look at my hotbar right now, you can see what you'll need to actually add components. So you'll need about this much for bottom and top for each additional section. You're just going to need to add 2 more redstone dust and a repeater for each one all the way on to infinity forever. And then you're just going to need to be able to run this redstone dust about 2 more. And then if you want to run it in like this, you can. If you want to get closer, you could put it like this instead and then get rid of this and only need 1 repeater. I like to do it this way because that allows it to be completely covered up if you wanted it to be covered up. And that's all you need for each additional section, other than whatever blocks you want to put it on top of. This is all you're going to need for the main section, which is over here. So what we're doing is we're passing a redstone signal from this and then waiting a few ticks before starting the sequence over here. And then when we want to actually trigger it downward, what we're going to do is we're going to need 1 of these each and a pair of observers in order to briefly reach out in front of this one, like so. All right, so without any further ado, let's start building one. So if you look at my hotbar below, you'll see that these things on the left are what we'll need to actually build the base pieces, and then we'll need these for each additional segment. The granite is just the top decor layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build some obsidian upward. What we're going to do is we're going to place this on the inside. So this is going to be on the outside. And so what we want to do is we want to place this so that this comes up like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to place like so. And that gives us the ability to put our observer right here on the inside, like this. And now we can go 1, 2, 3, and we're going to place a piston here and an observer. Don't have anything to place it on. Right, here, there. And so this one's going to be looking out, and this one's going to be looking down. And what we're going to do is we're going to place this here, come across, and then this goes on top, and then this is going to be the beginning. This right here is going to be the beginning of our entire setup. And so we're going to have a segment here. We're going to have pieces here. We're going to put a block here and a block here. And we're going to put an observer facing downward underneath it. And that's all you need to do. So let's do it a couple more times. We're going to go out. Let's do it 2 more times. And so if you're building a large one, I recommend not counting and just doing this. And then you figure it out as you go. So the count is going to be a 2-block gap. So you're going to have one here and one here. And the reason why you're going to not use more blocks, it might look like you can do more blocks. But the problem is that sometimes the order of these 2 pistons firing is not what you would expect, which causes this one to fire first. And so this one needs to be able to lift this block and this block. That might not seem like a problem, but if you count the blocks, if you're moving the next ones, you've already got 10 blocks, and so you only have room to move 2 more blocks. So if we were to make this a little bit wider, it might start to work on you, and then in one of the directions it would fail, and you would not know why, and it would be frustrating, and you would just be having an all-around bad time. And so in order to have it work, it needs to be this size. So unfortunately, you can't try and scrimp and save on pistons by just spacing them out further. It would be nice if you could, but you can't. I'm actually going to make this go out a little bit further and put this here. And then I'm going to put this here. I'm actually going to cut it off right there. We'll call that good. And so that should actually be a functioning infinite elevator. So what we'll do is we will come up a ways and we'll put an obsidian block over top of this last piece. And so to prime the elevator, we'll do what we usually do, which is we'll prime this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. Now you need to remember that the next one you need to prime is this one, and then you can tell it to go. Coming down here and setting it off. And it will go like this. Bup, 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 bup. And then you need to fix these, and we're going to do that with redstone immediately after it gets up here. And then it's ready to go back down, and all you have to do is say down. All right, now let's look at how to do the top and bottom. So for the bottom, what we want to do is we want to take the area right here and start to fill it out. And we'll do so by running it underneath here. And this is going to be how we send our signal. So our button that's going to trigger the bottom and send it upward is going to be right here. What we're going to do is we're going to run redstone dust all the way under here. And so my recommendation is that you try not to bump this one until you're ready. The second to last one, if that makes any sense. And so what you want to do is put 3 ticks between each of them and start from closest to the piston elevator, and that will prevent it from being up halfway or offset in a way you wouldn't like. And so you don't want to start moving it upward, you want to kind of keep it where it's at. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do this. See, that comes up. I'm going to break it and place it. That should fix it. And now it should be good to go. So what's going to happen is it's going to hit this one, wait 3 ticks, hit this one, wait 3 ticks, hit this one, wait 3 ticks, hit this one. We want to wait 3 ticks, and we want to say hello to this one right here. Now there is no problem with this going up and down because this is going to be going upward. And so that will actually work. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take this redstone signal and we want to send it upward. And so what I would do, if it were me, would be set another 3 ticks from there, and we can somehow, in this case I'm going to do it like this, send the signal up to that. So as long as you wait at least 3 ticks. If you wait more ticks, it's fine. It's not that picky. And then finally, we need to go downward, and we need to trigger it. So is it ready? No, which means it's not going to go anywhere. And so what we can do, and you'll see that I used this tower of slime blocks to send the signal down. We need to wait 3 more ticks and then go. And so what I'm going to do this time is I'm just going to show you how you would do it without. All we need to do is go down, make sure we have 15. So it comes from there, 2, 3. Yeah, we got plenty, 4, 5. And what we'll do is we'll wait 3 ticks, and then we will send this off. If we did it correctly, it should work perfectly. How did I do that? So let's take one last look. 3 ticks, 3 ticks, 3 ticks, 3 ticks. It's going to do that one, and then it should go upward. All right, let's go. And that works perfectly. And now let's fix the top. So to fix the top, what we want to do is we want to detect when this block right here arrives on the end. And so we can use on the top any block we want to surround it. So let's say our decor blocks are like this. Say this was the platform of infinite length we were going to come up on. And what we're going to do is we are going to have a signal come out of here. We're going to wait 9 ticks, and we're going to put a signal here. Well, we can't touch these slime blocks. We're going to have a problem. So use terracotta, and you won't have a problem. And you can do it like I did over here. I'll show you. Or we can do it the way I'm going to show you. So one of the ways you can do it is you can push it in like this, and that will be just fine. And so you can push it through terracotta, and that will allow you to completely block this off. Or, if you're not worried about blocking it off, you can just run redstone dust straight to it like this. And you don't actually need to do it for this one because it's on the end. And so you can forego that one. But for each segment, you're going to want to do like so. And you can actually do it way closer if you're not planning on doing it the other way. And so we need to wait 3 ticks between each one. And we need to wait 9 ticks or so before doing it. I guess you only need to change these blocks, so if you don't have to make a lot of glazed terracotta if you don't want. All these blocks can be these instead. But what we'll do is we're going to have a signal come out of this block, and what I'm going to do, the way I've decided I like doing it, is by having some redstone come out like this, and then it'll come out like this, and then we will go this way, and that should be more than enough ticks. You really only need to do 4 and 4 and 1 to do 9, but you can do more than it if you like. And what this will do, now that we're ready to deploy it, is when this arrives, it fixes them. Isn't that neat? And so now, all we have to do is rig up a button to say hello to it, and it'll go down. And so what we'll do is we'll do this. Let me pull out the items I use. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a sticky piston here. It comes forward 2 blocks from here. So this is going to come in and back out so that we don't get in the way of this stuff going down. And so what we'll do is we'll put some observers here. I threw away all my blocks on accident by switching, and so what we'll do is we will put the button where we want. Let's say we wanted to put it up here. Button. Button, 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 button. I like stone buttons. I really like stone buttons. I just think they're pretty. Ooh, I can't count today. That's fine. So when that signal is held on for a little bit longer, it will actually come out and start it. You ready? And there you go. Now it goes down. And you can see that it goes up when we push this. And it will fix itself now. And that's all there is to it. Subscribe if you haven't. That's all we got time for today. Be sure to share. We're trying to grow the channel some. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. See how long of an elevator you can make before you have problems. I went almost 200 blocks, and it goes out into the horizon where I can't see it anymore after a certain point, and I'm suspecting it's going to start having issues if I go much further. But at 12 chunk render distance, I'm able to do it almost 200 blocks. And so I would love to see if someone could make a 1,000 block one work, but I suspect you'd have to have a really high render distance for that. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.